I've been asked a few times on the channel to make a video about the skill shot in pool. This is a tricky one for me because I play in a league using world rules where the skill shot doesn't exist. However, I'm obviously aware of this shot, which is part of other rule sets, so I'll do my best to explain it and look at some of the techniques that are involved. So, as I said, I play world rules where covering a pocket is quite a common tactic. If you place a ball directly over the pocket, it can make it very difficult for your opponent to pot their balls close to that pocket. However, one of the major differences between the rules of black ball, for example, and world rules is the option of the skill shot. Basically, the skill shot is a combination shot which allows you to pot one or more of your opponent's balls in combination with your own. It varies slightly from one rule set to another, so I'll try and explain the differences as we look at some examples. In this example, if the yellow player was playing by world rules, they'd be in a very difficult position. Potting the yellow is easy enough, but then getting in a position to pot the black is quite difficult. If they run down to get behind it to pot it to the opposite corner, then they'd need to be very precise with their pace. If they roll too far, then they'd risk potting the red, and it'd be a foul and almost certainly game over. If they didn't roll far enough, then the angle to pot the black is likely to have the cue ball running into the red again. If they pot the black and the red in the same shot, then that would be loss of frame. In rule sets where the skill shot is available, then this situation is completely different. As long as the player contacts the yellow first and pots their ball, then they can pot the red. So in this example, all the player needs to do is pot the yellow with a little top spin to take the white down the cushion, clipping the red into the pocket and clearing the way for the black to be potted. You might also want to use the shot earlier on in a game to develop a difficult ball. In this setup, the red player has most of his balls in a pottable position. However, this red is blocked to the middle pocket by the yellow which is covering the pocket. It doesn't go down either line because of the yellows in the way, and it's tricky to get in behind it to pot it to other pockets. Again, this is a situation where the skill shot can be used. The player can play the red into the yellow, potting it to the middle, so that the red can then be potted. By then using top spin, they can send the cue ball down the table, potting the easy red hanging over the pocket. They're then in a great position to continue and clear up the table. It's also worth remembering what happens if you don't make the shot, and this is where things differ in different rule sets. In black ball rules, if you pot the yellow in the middle but then miss the red over the corner, then it's a foul. Play passes to your opponent and they have a free shot plus another visit from where the ball lies, or they can move behind the bulk line. In supreme rules, if you pot the yellow to the middle but then miss the red over the corner, then it's not a foul, as long as you hit your own ball first. However, because you didn't pot the red, play just passes to your opponent and they carry on from wherever the ball lies. In Chinese 8-ball, things are the same as in the Supreme rules, so it's not a foul if you don't successfully pot one of your own balls. The difference in Chinese 8-ball is that you must nominate when you play a skill shot which balls you're trying to pot in combination. This removes the element of a fluke where you could pot your ball, fly around the table and accidentally pot one of your opponent's balls. One of the most common uses of the skill shot that you might see is potting two balls into the one pocket. In this example, the yellow player is on the black, but it's right behind the red which is blocking the pocket. In world rules, this would be really difficult for the yellow player. Potting the black by coming off cushions is incredibly difficult, and if they move the black, then the red player has an easy finish. Again, the skill shot makes this shot completely different in black ball rules. The player can simply play the black into the red, potting both balls into the same pocket. Now, I say simply, but it's not actually as easy to do this as you might think, so I'd like to talk about this particular shot in a bit more detail. There are several factors to the success of potting two balls into one pocket, but the key elements are the alignment of the balls and forward momentum on the second ball. For the alignment, the two balls need to be in line with the pocket, so that the second ball can follow after the first. If the second ball needs to strike the first ball at anything other than straight to make the pot, then it will travel along the tangent line and not go into the pocket. The position of the white doesn't make any difference to this. It's obviously easier if all 3 balls are in a dead straight line, as there'd be nothing to work out. However, if the white is not in line, then as long as it sends the second ball along the correct line to the pocket, then the shot will still work. The second, more tricky element is the forward momentum of the second ball. If the second ball has a good distance to travel before it strikes the first ball, then it will have plenty of time to build up some forward momentum, and will continue travelling forward after making contact and follow into the pocket. However, it's far more likely that we're going to want to pot 2 balls that are closer together. The problem with this is that the second ball then doesn't have any time to build up any forward momentum. If we play the cue ball just plain ball, then the black just stops as soon as it hits the red and doesn't make it to the pocket. Even the little knock from the cue ball isn't enough to get it there. So how do we generate forward momentum in the black ball when it's so close to the red? The answer is to transfer some spin from the cue ball to the black. If we play the cue ball with lots of screw back, then when it hits the black, it transfers a small amount of topspin. This is not a huge amount, but it's enough to get the black to travel forward an inch or two, which is all we need to make it to the pocket. If we watch this in slow motion, you can see that the black just rolls forward that little bit after impact as the screw back on the white turns to topspin on the black. The other option that we have is to get the white to contact the black a second time, potting it after the red. We play the cue ball with lots of topspin, and although the black stops after contacting the red, the white then bounces back, the topspin kicks in, and then comes back to pot the black into the corner. Personally, I find this option a little harder to execute. Alignment is key, and all 3 balls need to be in line so that none are knocked off course. If you're just slightly out with your cueing, then the white won't come back straight and it won't send the black towards the pocket. Playing with topspin is more likely to squirt the ball offline if you have even the tiniest touch of side, and you need to play it firmly to generate enough topspin. All of these factors give it more chance of failure. There's even a chance that with too much topspin you could send the white into the pocket as well. Where things get more difficult is when the first ball is not hanging over the pocket but is a little bit further back. The problem here is that the black has got a lot further to travel to the pocket. Even with lots of screw back on the cue ball, it can be difficult to generate enough forward momentum in that second ball for it to reach the pocket. In this situation, you may be forced to use the topspin approach. Again, it's still a distance for the black to travel, so it may still not reach the pocket. However, we can at least generate more topspin, which can be enough to pot the black. Just remember that playing the shot with enough power to generate the large amounts of topspin needed can easily throw things offline and result in a miss. The worst thing about this is that you can leave your opponent with an easy shot on the black, especially if it's their last red. So make sure you weigh up the chances of success really carefully. If you want to see more practice routines and pool tutorials, then please remember to subscribe. And if you're interested in any of the equipment I use in this video, then there are links in the description below.